Right, first thing you do is move the wing mirror all the way down to the bottom right, because when you get the wing mirror off, there's a nice little clip in there that you want to undo. So the next thing I would do is wind your window down, and then you're going to take off this bit of trim and the handle, because they'll release. You'll see some screws here and here, and then there's a screw there, there and there, I think, that you remove. So easiest way to get the trim off on the handle is if you start on this end and then you pop it there. I'll do this in a sec, and then you'll be able to pull it out. And then this one I've just started up here, and I'm going to gradually work along, so we'll get those off next. Okay, so unscrewed one there, and pull that one out there. It's quite handy to have a little magnet. This one here is the shorter one out of all of them, if you forget. There's another one. There's another one down there. Right, so then in order to get to here, we need to pull this door card back. So I usually start up the top and gradually work my way down. You do not need to remove the whole door card. The other thing is, watch out that this will tend to pop out. When you're putting the door card back, you need to make sure that's in place. And remember, there are all the wires of the speakers are sitting on the other side of this, so don't break those. All right. Okay, so peeled these back. Make sure you don't lose the clips. I need to put this one back over here, but you can also actually just stick it in the hole there. So what we need to do now is unclip here, and then we're going to undo 1, 2, and then under here, third bolt. There we go. Important thing when you're doing the last bolt, make sure you've got a hand on the mirror, otherwise it will drop off and smash. So there we go. Right, next bits, I'm going to take it through and dismantle it a bit further. Okay, so just in here, it's very hard to get a view of this, but there is a little clip in there that we will need to use a screwdriver to pop. And once that's popped off, it's actually very easy to just gently pull away the mirror. And you can actually see it a little bit there. So I basically pushed, so you see where that dark gap is and the tab, I pushed the flathead in between there and pushed up to 12 o'clock, and then gently pulling back and it unclips. So yeah, that worked. I'm going to gently peel away the rest. Okay, so this is the model that doesn't have the motorized closing of the wing mirrors. So you've got the heating element on the back of the mirror. I've got some lovely spiders in here. I had on my other side some spider eggs. They can stay. Don't want to kill no spiders. But anyway, you're going to undo all of these, and then we're going to pop this off, and also the back plastic part as well. I'm going to take all of that out. Another thing to clip off is this little plastic bit here. Again, just use your plastic pry tool and pop that off. And then the other bit to do is removing this part by undoing these bolts. It basically frees up this whole bit that you can then, I find, put the clamp on nice and easily. It's worth noting when you're taking these off that sometimes it's easy to do when the wing mirror is in the flexed closed position, which I'm actually finding at the moment, and I'll have to remember that when I'm putting it back. Okay, and I found that was actually the same with this bottom bit as well, easier in the flexed closed position. So the next bit is we're going to need to get these wires out of the way. So I'm going to unclip this bit. Now there are, just in here, that little white tab is the clip. You push that with a flat head, and then this should all pull out for you. Let's do that. There we go. So that's released that there. And then here you've got a little clip there and a little clip there. And what you do is you put your flathead underneath there to raise these clips, and then they're slide fit with a kind of rubber gasket in there, and then you pull that off. What I did at this point is I took photos to remember which one goes in which, because they obviously line up to the heated mirror and the mirror movement controls, so that I remember which way around to put them. So it's going to be that way. To be honest, I think the main thing is as well when you plug them back into the other side that it clips in the right way. But anyway, I just think it's best to have things go back the way they came. So then you're going to push this all through. It feeds out the back here, and basically it will come out of the spring mechanism. Just to get it out of the way, I'll do that next. Okay, so I've got that all out of the way. It was pretty salty and crispy in there, so I might give that a little clean. This is the passenger side, so I guess it gets more spray from the road. And the next bit, there are other ways of doing this, but I found this worked really easy. I've got this Sealy triple leg gear puller set, and it's the medium size that works. And what I'm going to do is connect it on there. The other thing that I used was a washer to basically, otherwise the pin is going to go straight through, but I found that fits quite nicely so that doesn't happen. So I'll set it up and I'll show you how it works. So you can see how much I'm having to depress that spring. Just be careful this doesn't blow up in your face. I'm going to go a little bit more, and then what happens is it will release from the bottom and we're off. And that's usually the bit that breaks. It's that kind of cast horrible metal, muggy metal. So what I'm going to do is gently release this spring and then replace that hinge with this bad boy. So I got this on the Amazon link, and if you look closely, it's actually been lathed. It's a solid piece of metal that's been grooved. So that to me is much stronger, but I'll take the old one out and we can have a look. So yeah, if you look at the original one, it's very light. Who makes this? Lamac? Don't know, but it's much lighter, much more solid, this one. This little hole apparently is sometimes when you're refitting it, you can actually use a bar to then rotate the hinge to lock in place. But anyway, I'm going to try and put it back together. So for putting the new one in, you see I've compressed it pretty much all the way down, and then you've got to now hook this part. This bit goes into this mechanism, and once it's hooked in, it goes, I think it's clockwise, you can see there's a groove there, and it will lock in. There is, I think, does it fit either, I'll see how it goes, I can't remember, but I think it just will fall in place. You'll fiddle around and find it, but let's see how we get on. The other thing I want to do is put a little bit of grease on there. I've given everything a little clean with WD-40 just because it was getting a bit crusty in there, but yeah, I'll slap a bit of grease on there, why not? Okay, so basically I've put it into place and I've turned it so now that it doesn't fall out. So that means it's now locked in the mechanism, and I can undo the spring, and that should hold it in place. Woohoo! Living the dream. Look at it. BMW, this is so shit. Why would you put this in here? I mean, I suppose 145,000 miles, but... Ow. That's gonna hurt. So remember to fold the mirror close to attach this bit and this bit back in, and ow, don't get your finger caught in the mechanism, that really fucking hurt. Anyway, right, let's go. So once you've done all your lining, all the cables back up, I actually found the open position is the best position to put this back on. I don't say actually found, I think it's the only way you'll be able to do it. But the same basically as doing it the other way. Let's do it reverse. It can be a bit fiddly, that bit, just because of this edge, but I found actually coming back here and looking where the holes are, trying to line those up, it then seems to fit quite nicely. Just worry, make sure you don't put too much tension on those wires. They look pretty strong, but you don't want to be damaging them in the process. So right now we've got to redo all of these little screws. So another thing, having the mirror closed seems to be easier. So basically anywhere where this gets pinched when you're putting this back on, it seems to be a nicer position, but we are pretty much... And there we have it, the finished article. Works. Before you put all of the trim back together, it's worthwhile just checking that the movement of the mirror works. You've got it all wired up correctly, so you don't have to pull all the trim off again, but that should last the lifetime of the vehicle. Right, better clean my dirty mirrors now.